But you'll notice somewhere down the line how difficult it is to attain funding, to get being funded, specifically if you're in primary farming. I will explain in depth why. Just a quick insight, 2026 has started and you're probably thinking one of the things and achievements that you want to have before the end of the year is you getting into farming and uqale any form of passion, as a lot of people actually allude to. But you'll notice somewhere down the line how difficult it is to attain funding, to get being funded, specifically if you're in primary farming. I will explain in depth why. So I was hoping to host a live tonight, and I'm hoping that it will actually happen because well, as much as it's still very early in the year, I'm still planning out my year as well. I'm very focused on having certain discussions this year. I'm not really talking to everybody. The primary farmer, I do not care that much because as an agent, the one thing that I care about, Gakul, is the establishment of this market. And I feel like we are right there. We are at the end right now. So, but I still have these discussions fairly much with general farmers. Abantu basa obviously still wanting to start off. Some believe in investing in education, some still don't believe in that. Some still think it's where animals sold, so I actually can go and buy. A lot of people are fixated around the idea of just starting, and I think I'm not gonna even talk about why it's very detrimental to your operation to even know the numbers of what are you planning to do, irrespective of whether for broilers for the purposes of meat, or for either selling for slaughter or selling for guys like me who are looking for meat, or goat or cattle, your Bonsmaras, your Boran, you're choosing between specific breeds, which breed is more commercial. Irrespective of whatever that you are, but the key problem still remains that a lot of people actually get into farming. They start all of these projects with imali yabo yokugcina and then don't get to a point where they actually are commercial. Being commercial, by the way, just doesn't mean once off, but it means you are consistently operating towards supplying a specific market. Now, the most important thing about market, as I've always said, provides you more specifications of what the market needs. But due to those specifications, what type of breed, how many in terms of quantity, kgs, and so on, it helps you actually get to a point of understanding the numbers of the business. Now, this is where a lot of abantu tend to really make a loss, and I occasionally see abantu abaningi from starting from one point of farming. Told umuntu uzoqala ngeenkukhu, futhi ngiyakhona inkukhu engicabanga ngibone ngathi chickens or layers or broilers always come at the end. People always start off with your cattle farming, told it's more expensive. Quite frankly, cattle farming is mostly started by people but it's also more or less who get into sheep or goat farming because they have the passion for farming, and then ibasha a little passion, and then they come to a point where they're now considering other forms of farming, mainly because of the mathematics of the business, the accounting of the business, which is very critical. Now the numbers le ngikhuluma ngawo iwona lawo enza ukuthi singafinyeleli le point la khona we are actually saying our business is profitable. Number, you spend all your hard earned imali oyisavile starting the business, and you don't actually reach a point where we call break even. La kuhlukana khona your costs, your monthly cost or your operational costs, to a point where you are actually making profits. So this is why, again, and part of the reasons why a lot of us actually do not get a point ukuthi sibe nenhlanhla ukuba sifundeke. Primary farming is such a risk because there are many elements that come into play. There's the risk factor of business. Every business has a risk factor. but also there's a point where you are fighting against environments, you are fighting against theft, you're fighting against. So primary farming on its own, when nje mawuthi ufuna ukufuya imbuzi, hambe masipala wakho, hambe kuphi nakuphi la uthi une passion khona ku-LED, local economic development units in your municipality, and tell them that you want to start farming. Promise you now, if they don't already have a program where they will incubate you into a fully fledged business, you're not going to get funding. Why is that? Is because of the risks in primary farming. So how do you mitigate the risks, or where do you get a point where you are now at a point to which you are fundable? Speaking from someone that has been part of funding programs, various funding programs, and I created myself, as well as a few that I was actually part of where I received funding. I can tell you now, the mass production viewpoint on any form of project is important, because primary farming falls just a percentage. It's not the whole focus, it's a percentage. The key focus for any farming project is that of access to market. Have you probably seen ama projects amaningi aqale emakhaya ney'ndawo ezahlukahlukene, uthola ukuthi abantu, people have they are given starter stock, or even they are given seeds to plow, and then after a given time they don't actually get to a point where you see any progress. It's because running costs are so high when it comes to primary farming. But the key thing is that of market, that actually determines to whoever the investor is, that there is a probability for the money to be actually made back, or even if it's in a grant format, for that money to be actually returned on investment. I'm saying this because currently I'm speaking to investors every single other day. Obviously, now we are trying to establish the operations of our brand and operations of our vision and so on. So numbers is a game. Numbers makes it easy for the investor to actually even understand what you're trying to do. The investor doesn't care about your goats. The investor doesn't care about your chicken. It cares about how much in terms of projections are you entailing to actually make after a given period of time. So let's come back to this point of why then don't we see ourselves actually reach that point? It's because, number one, we start a project without even knowing what the market needs. I know this for a fact. I've dealt with abantu abaningi. People have started planting cabbages and so on. And at a point of sale where they are supposed to be selling, they take the cabbage to a certain store, and the store actually tells them that, no, look, this is actually a bit bigger than what we usually sell. So you started the project without even knowing what the market actually requires. That's why I mean specifically, if you're saying that you want to supply us with goats, we actually say you have to be part of a training program, or else receive the specifications right early. Now, those specifications, mind you, they are not always for free or easy to attain. Reason being is because you spend years to develop that specification based on the market that you're entertaining. So, in market competitively, the specifications become very competitive based on their offerings. So, specification ya KFC, I find the specification ya chicken liquid, more or less, because that's their competitive advantage. So it gets to that point. So one of the reasons why as farmers, more or less, we don't get to a point where we are reaching business progress. So family when's a young kid, and then the point where you're supposed to sell, you are now competing with the average guy, because you have to now lower your price, forgetting all your overheads, forgetting all your cost of operations. Now you have to compete with the guy that was actually spending way less than you, mainly because you did not ask the market what it really requires. So this is where and why a lot of primary farming projects don't get actually funded. But if ube nenhlanhla of actually being part of a group of farmers that actually have found a market and engage the market, or it's okay, this is what we actually can produce, what do you need, and the market actually responds, you now get to a point where you have a competitive advantage to actually know what the market actually requires. So that's why I told you some projects actually do very well, because the market comes in and incubates its own farmers. This is exactly the model that we are planning to do moving forward, because we know exactly, because abantu abaningi will come forth and say, I have goats, I have pigs, I have what. But now you tend to assess and in terms of market standards, this animal just doesn't reach the market standard. So it's very, very important, but way before your passion, take into account that this is a business. You have to know what the market actually requires. Go to the market and actually do introspection, or not introspection, extrospection. Actually even engage with the market to actually find out with what is it that you need for me to be able to supply, for us to be able to get to a point where we can actually sell and be in a commercial kind of exchange moving forward. So main reasons why primary farmers actually do not get to this point is that of not accessing the relevant markets pertaining to whatever offering that they're trying to offer moving forward. I'm hoping that I'll be able to host the live tonight. If not, maybe tomorrow, but I'm planning to actually host my lives like twice a week. I'm not really fixated around it, but I'm really just trying to harvest relevant farmers whom I'm happy that they're actually approaching us now moving forward. So okay, in short, understand what the market actually requires way before you actually start saying that you're passionate and wanting to start your farming project this year. You'll be able to move from front to back, and then from then on you're moving forward with great progress moving. Sizokhuluma.